You've probably heard it before, but something about it didn't sit right. You're actually pretty smart. I didn't expect that. You look good today. What happened? You're not like other people. In a good way, I guess. On the surface, these sound like compliments, but your gut tells you something else is happening. A subtle discomfort, a quiet confusion, a feeling you can't fully explain, because what you just experienced wasn't praise. It was control. And the most dangerous part? You didn't even notice it happening in real time. There are people who don't need to insult you directly. They don't need to argue. They don't need to dominate loudly. Instead, they lower your confidence just enough, while making you crave their approval at the same time. This is not accidental behavior. It's calculated. And once you understand it, you'll start to see it everywhere. In conversations, in relationships, even in professional environments where respect is supposed to exist. What you're about to learn will permanently change how you interpret compliments, and more importantly, how you protect your self-worth from being quietly dismantled. Before we go deeper, I want to be clear. Everything discussed on this channel is strictly for educational purposes. Understanding dark psychology is about building awareness, not weaponizing it. If you or someone you know is in a harmful situation, please seek support from a licensed professional. This is a space for growth, clarity, and protection, nothing else. The behavior we're uncovering today is called negging. Negging is a psychological tactic where someone delivers a backhanded compliment, statement that appears positive on the surface, but subtly undermines your confidence underneath. It's designed to create just enough self-doubt that you begin to seek validation from the very person who caused that doubt. Think about this scenario. You meet someone new, the conversation is smooth, there's a connection, and then suddenly they say something like, "I mean, you're cute." Not usually my type, but it works. Now you're caught in a strange emotional loop. You feel slightly insulted, but also oddly motivated to prove yourself, to win their approval, to show them they're wrong. That's not chemistry, that's manipulation. And this doesn't only happen in dating. It shows up in workplaces where a colleague might say, "You did well," for someone at your level. It shows up in friendships, where someone keeps you just slightly insecure so you never feel fully confident around them. Negging is subtle, quiet, almost invisible, but its impact can be powerful, especially if you don't recognize it. Layer 1, the confidence disruption mechanism. At its core, negging is about destabilizing your sense of self, but only slightly. Not enough to make you walk away, just enough to make you question yourself. Here's how it works psychologically. When someone gives you a mixed signal, part compliment, part insult, your brain struggles to categorize it. You can't fully reject it as negative, and you can't fully accept it as positive. This creates cognitive tension, and your mind naturally tries to resolve that tension, often by focusing on the negative part. For example, you're confident. Sometimes it comes off as a bit much, though. Now you're thinking, "Wait, am I too much? Did I say something wrong? Should I tone it down?" And just like that, your focus shifts from being yourself to adjusting yourself. Why does this matter? Because the moment you start adjusting your behavior to gain someone's approval, they gain psychological leverage over you, and most people don't even realize it's happening. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Layer 2, the validation. Negging doesn't just lower your confidence, it redirects it. Instead of feeling secure within yourself, you start looking outward, specifically toward the person who delivered the comment. This creates what I call the validation trap. You begin to seek approval from them because they've positioned themselves as the judge of your worth. Imagine this situation. Someone tells you, "You're interesting, but I'm still figuring you out." Now you feel like you're being evaluated, like there's a test you didn't know you were taking. And suddenly, you want to pass it. So what do? You try harder, you explain more, you prove yourself, and in doing so, you give them control over your emotional state. This is especially effective in early interactions, dating, interviews, new social circles, and where people naturally want to be liked. Most people stop here, but you need to know the next layer. Layer 3, the power imbalance strategy. Negging ultimately creates an invisible hierarchy. The person delivering the comment positions themselves as slightly above you, not in an obvious way, but in a subtle psychological sense. They become the evaluator, and you This dynamic can grow stronger. You start second-guessing yourself around them. You become more cautious, more eager to impress, and without realizing it, you've handed them emotional authority. Here's a real-world example. In a workplace, a manager might say, "You're doing well, just don't get too comfortable." That statement keeps you slightly insecure, always trying to prove your worth, never fully confident in your position. Why does this matter? Because once someone establishes that imbalance, they don't need to control you directly. You start regulating yourself. Here's the truth most people don't realize. Negging only works if you're seeking approval in the first place. That's the uncomfortable part. Because it means the tactic isn't just about the other person, it's also about what's happening internally. If you're grounded in your self-worth, if you don't need external validation to feel secure, negging loses its power completely. In fact, it becomes obvious, almost transparent. You hear the comment, and instead of questioning yourself, you question them. Why would someone say that? What are they trying to achieve? And suddenly the dynamic flips. You're no longer reacting, you're observing. This is why some people are highly affected by negging, while others are completely untouched by it. It's not about intelligence, it's not about experience, it's about self-perception. When your sense of worth comes from within, subtle manipulation has nothing to attach itself to, and that realization changes everything. Strategy 1, recognize the pattern. The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to compliments that don't feel entirely positive. If a statement leaves you slightly confused or insecure, pause and analyze it. Recognizing the pattern immediately weakens its effect. Strategy 2, don't seek clarification. One of the biggest traps is asking, "What do you mean?" This pulls you deeper into the validation loop. Instead, let the comment sit. You don't need their approval to resolve the discomfort. Strategy 3, maintain emotional neutrality. When you react emotionally, you reinforce the dynamic. Stay calm. Respond neutrally or not at all. This signals that their attempt to influence your self-perception isn't working. Strategy 4, anchor your self-worth internally. Remind yourself of your value independently of external opinions. The stronger your internal validation, the less impact subtle insults will have. This isn't about arrogance, it's about stability. Think about the last time someone gave you a compliment that didn't feel quite right. Now ask yourself, did it make you question yourself? Or did it make you question them? Because that difference reveals more about your internal foundation than you might expect. Negging is not just about words, and it's about influence. It's a quiet way of shifting your confidence without you noticing. And once you see it clearly, it loses its power completely. In our next video, we're going to uncover another subtle behavior pattern, one that doesn't use words at all, but can control how you feel just as deeply. If this gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to keep learning the psychology most people never get taught,